Honestly, right now I would both kill and die for a sewing machine that could do one solid line of stitching without losing its mind. Anyway, hello, welcome back. Usually when I make these videos, I finish the project first and then I tell you all about it, right? We're not doing that today. Today I'm telling you about it from about the halfway point. I'm taking a break from sewing right now to tell you what the process is, because it's fresh in my mind and I thought it would be interesting to tell you about it while it's more fresh. And also it means if it goes horribly wrong, you'll probably see that in the video. So, okay. I'm making a cape. Not entirely from scratch. We're not there yet. I will eventually do that, promise. I have patterns and stuff for it. But this cape started out life as a skirt. It's one that I bought from Mythalon. They're like a LARP clothing website. This is not sponsored. They don't know I exist. Just saying. But they also have an outlet shop where they do things a lot cheaper than on the main website. And this skirt was 100% cotton, which is important to me because I am essentially allergic to plastic. It is technically most of the preservatives and stuff that is used to make plastic and in plastic, and that plastic leaches off of it onto your skin and into the air. Like, that's what I'm allergic to. But in effect, allergic to plastic. So I have been prioritizing cotton clothing. And I bought this skirt because it's black and white and it's 100% cotton, and it was very, very discounted on the Mythalon outlet website. So I did that before realising that the chemicals I'm allergic to are also present in most modern black dyes. So it still is a bit itchy and painful to wear. Also, obviously, all stitching on modern clothing is polyester thread. So I'm allergic to all the stitching and the black panels. But at this point, I had cut it into a cape and I'd worn it over other stuff a couple of times. And I like it. I like it. And I thought, I'll make a lining for it. I'll make a lining for it. And while I'm doing that, I could make a hood for it, because I don't own many clothes with hoods for some reason. I have one hoodie and it's really thin. So I thought, if I'm going to alter this cape anyway, I might as well make it a lining with a hood. What could possibly go wrong, right? So the fabric I'm using for this is a dust sheet. It's a dust sheet that you would buy and use to cover your furniture when you're painting. But I have loads of them because I need to keep the sofa wrapped in them if I want to sit down, because it's all synthetic fibre. I have to wrap my mattress in them because it is plastic. I use them to cover furniture to make them safe, relatively safe to sit on. And then obviously they need washed every couple of days, and that is a whole nightmare. Most of my life has been doing laundry this year because the dust sheets all need washed every couple of days, and then everything that touched them also needs washed. So, such is life. But I noticed that the plain undyed dust sheets are the exact same colour as the ivory parts of this cape. I think it's like probably the exact same fabric because it is just cotton canvas. And then I thought, if I dyed some of the dust sheet black, I could have the outside of the hood be black and the whole lining be white. And then I think it would look better. Obviously I am allergic to the black dye a little bit. Not as much as if it was just plastic. Like if it was a plastic fabric or a block of plastic or like a computer mouse or something, that's way, way worse. But this, the Dylon black dye, is not as bad. So I thought I could tolerate that if it has a lining. So step one was to dye some fabric. And you've seen me dye things many, many times on this channel, but here we are doing it all again. And then I had to make a pattern, essentially. So I laid out the skirt cape flat and measured it and then drew it, because I have a little book that I've been keeping sewing thoughts in, you know, it's not actual patterns, but it's just things that I have made and things that I'm planning on making and things that I'm thinking about. So I tend to draw them out and measure them and then try and make it and then adjust what I've drawn after the fact. So I laid out this skirt cape, measured it, drew it all in my little book, and then tried to make a hood for it, in essence, because I don't know how to do that. I looked it up online. The only really important measurement seems to be to have the collar match the collar of the garment you're attaching it to. So I made sure to measure the collar of the cape that used to be the waistband of the skirt, and made sure that the hood edge was going to match that. And then the rest of it is kind of vibes based. I just measured my head and then made it a bit bigger than that, because then I knew it would fit, I guess. It was kind of, it wasn't very scientific, but hopefully it will work. I also tried to make the hood a little bit stylized. I saw patterns for a few that had 2 pieces and some that had 3 pieces, and some that had like square, were a more square hood, some that were round, and some that were like pointed with a point at the back. I really wanted mine to be round at the back and have a little point at the front, because I've been referring to this cape as my magpie cape because I think it looks like magpie wings. So I thought it would be cute if the hood had a little beak part. That is probably me making it more complicated than it has ever needed to be. I'm probably going to regret doing that, but if it works out, I think it'll be very cute. That's where we're at. Right now, as of right now, all of the pieces are cut out. They're in the other room. The lining of the hood is sewn together. The outer part needs sewn together, and then the lining of the cape needs put into it. That's where we're at. I'm going to go do that now, I think, because the weather is atrocious. It is absolutely battering down with rain out there, and I don't have any clothes I can wear in the rain. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Thank you for being here. Are you ready? Once this project is done, I'll come back and I'll talk to you about it a bit more, and that'll be great. That will be in about 30 seconds for you, maybe 10 seconds, I don't know. Probably going to be about a week for me though. Okay, you ready? It's time travel. I'm back. It's 2 weeks later. I'm wearing this shirt again because my fashion options are limited these days. Where were we? We're talking about my magpie cape. It's done. I finished it, and then I took it with me when I went away for a week. And let me just show you. I have always been a cape enjoyer. I love a cape. I've always been a bit obsessed with the idea of clothes that feel like blankets. Funny that. I've always been obsessed with the idea of clothes that feel comfortable. Anyway. The hood is a lot bigger than I imagined it was going to be, but it needed to be to fit on this collar. This is a little bit torn. I'm going to fix that, but that is because I wore it every day for a week while trekking up and down a cliff to go to the beach and doing all sorts of nonsense. And it's fine, I can repair it. So, the kind of pointed bit on the hood didn't work out as well as I thought it would. It's not that obvious. And I've been told since making this that I should have looked up cosplay patterns for Assassin's Creed, I think. Because apparently the characters in that wear hoods with little beak parts, but I didn't know that before I started, so I didn't know that, so I didn't do that. If I ever make another one, or try and fix this one and do it again, I'll probably look up those patterns. I will definitely be making more capes. Because like I said, I am a known cape enjoyer. I love a cape. And I have so many ideas for different styles and designs, and I have a couple of different fabrics that I have that are just waiting for the right project. And I feel like making myself a bunch of capes is a worthwhile project. Especially these days where I'm trying to protect myself from touching plastic. So I like to have blankets and coats with me that I can use to cover surfaces. Like if I'm on the train, I don't want to sit on the spiky polyester seats because that jabs into your skin and causes the muscle cramps and the pain and the itching and everything. And other people's houses, obviously, if they're not allergic to plastic, they don't have to worry about it. It's not their problem. So I like to bring my own blankets and coats and stuff to cover a seat or whatever so I can be comfortable. And obviously we were away for a week, so I was staying somewhere where none of the bedding was safe, because why would it be, you know? Nobody else has to worry about my allergy. But I was really, really glad to have a cape with me that could double as a blanket to cover seats, to wrap up in at night to keep me warm, and it looks cool. And I can wear it during the day, and it has a hood so it keeps the rain off me, which is pretty ideal. Do you want to see some pictures of me wearing this at the beach? Here's some pictures. Harry took these pictures of me while I was stalking around in the sea looking for hagstones. And I found several, actually. This is kind of an aside. Do you want to see the hagstones I found? I bet you do. I'm wearing one of them right now. This is one of the seeing stones that I found. I don't know what's going on at that beach. I don't know why there's so many little rocks or seeing stones around, but there are. So I found a bunch of them, and now I have a little collection. Anyway, there we go. What else? Oh, the black dye. So, interestingly, the black dye doesn't bother me because this is lined. And that's kind of what I was going for. Like, putting a lining on the whole thing was obviously to keep the black dye and the stitching off of my skin. But quite often things, you can feel it through a couple of layers, especially polyester stitching. If I'm wearing something with polyester stitching and I've got a shirt on underneath it, I can still kind of feel it. It's not perfect, but it's also not as painful as it would be if it was directly on my skin. But for some reason, the black dye doesn't bother me at all with the lining inside it. So that's interesting and very hopeful, because it means I can potentially dye other cotton fabrics different colours and then make them into stuff, and so long as I line it, it should be okay. Right? It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. I mean, I'm also going to start experimenting with natural dyes and plant-based dyes and making my own dye, probably. That will be a whole other project, but keep your eyes peeled on this channel, because when I start doing that, I will blog about it. I will tell you all about it. Anyway, this is my magpie cape. This project is done for now. I'm so happy with it. I'm so cozy. I love this thing. Follow me on Patreon if you want everything first, previews, extras, all sorts of stuff, or just to support me. Subscribe if you want to see my videos. I don't know if you still get notifications about it. I don't know how YouTube works anymore. I'm old, but I'm still here. Thank you for sticking around. How do you feel about capes? Do you love a cape? I love a cape. Okay, take care. Thank you for being here. Bye.